I just spent 20 hours testing ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini across 11 brutal categories. And the winner, it's not what you think. Which AI destroys content creation? Which one handles research like a pro? And which one you should actually pay for in 2025? No fluff, no marketing hype, just real tests with real scores. And here's what's at stake. Most people are paying for 2 or 3 AI subscriptions right now. Spending anywhere from 40 to 60 bucks a month, you'll know which one you can cancel. Here's how this works. I'm testing all 3 AIs across 11 different categories, everything from writing and research to image generation, data analysis. Each category gets scored out of 10 points based on quality, accuracy, and real-world usability. No bias, no marketing spin, just straight-up performance testing. All 3 AIs can write, but the quality gap shows up fast when you look at the details. We're talking product descriptions, marketing copy, blog content, the stuff you'd actually publish. ChatGPT handles text generation surprisingly well. The writing flows naturally without feeling robotic, features get woven into the narrative smoothly, and there's a professional polish that doesn't scream AI wrote this. You might tweak a sentence or 2, but you're not rewriting from scratch. The tone hits that balance between corporate and conversational. Solid foundation here. 8 out of 10. Gemini's a different story. Technically, everything's correct. Information is there. Structure makes sense. But the language feels stiff. You get phrases like cutting-edge technology and seamless integration that just sound generic. It works if you need something fast and functional, but if you're trying to actually connect with an audience, you'll be doing significant rewrites. 6 out of 10. Claude's where things get interesting. The writing doesn't just sound good, it actually persuades. There's a subtle quality where it seems to understand not just what to say, but why someone would care. Language is crisp, benefits land clearly, and you get these little touches that make copy feel crafted instead of generated. This is publication ready with minimal editing. 9 out of 10. And here's where staying current actually matters. I just pulled up AI Master Pro to check the latest prompt engineering frameworks for text generation because the difference between a mediocre AI output and a great one often comes down to how you structure your prompts. The platform updates weekly, which honestly saves hours of trial and error. We give the AI structured data, spreadsheets, CSV files, datasets, and see if it can extract meaningful insights, spot trends, and make actionable recommendations. ChatGPT provides clear, actionable analysis. It identifies patterns in the data, explains what's driving the numbers, and suggests logical next steps. The breakdown includes enough detail to be genuinely useful. You're getting business insights, not just data summaries. 9 out of 10. Gemini handles data accurately, but stays surface level. You get correct numbers and basic observations, but minimal depth. It tells you what happened without explaining why it happened or what you should do about it. The analysis reads more like a report than strategic insight. 6 out of 10. Claude goes deep with data. It doesn't just report numbers, it contextualizes them, identifies underlying patterns, and offers strategic recommendations with clear reasoning. The analysis feels like working with someone who understands business context, not just spreadsheet formulas. It's the most actionable output of the 3. 10 out of 10. Speaking of data analysis, if you're running ads or managing marketing campaigns, you're probably wasting hours on reports. I'm not talking about the analysis part, I mean pulling numbers from Meta Ads Manager, Google Ads, dumping everything into spreadsheets, building pivot tables, making charts, then moving it all into PowerPoint. It's exhausting. I've been testing Prism lately, and it completely changes that workflow. Here's why it actually works. Prism was trained on 3 billion data points from thousands of advertising campaigns. It's not giving you generic answers or guessing, it understands how performance marketing actually operates, so you can just ask questions in plain English and get real insights. Here's what I use it for. Building dashboards that update on the fly without touching Excel, finding creative fatigue in minutes instead of digging through campaign data manually, running scenario analysis like, what happens if my competitor launches a 20% discount? How do I preserve return on ad spend if CPMs rise by 20%? What if I need to cut budgets by 15% without losing sales? Prism gives you actual answers with recommendations. And it's not just reporting. Prism can take action, reallocate budgets, update audiences, pause campaigns, change creative while you handle strategy. Sign up for a free trial today. Links in the description. All right, back to the test.
All three AI models now have built-in web search and fact-checking capabilities, though they implement it differently. ChatGPT handles facts cleanly when search is enabled. Names, dates, research context, it checks out. Explanations are clear and well-organized. No hallucinations if the information exists. The tone is safe and neutral, wrapped in careful language. 10 out of 10 for accuracy, though the presentation can feel overly cautious. Gemini delivers solid factual performance with slightly more detail because of Google's search integration. It pulls from a wider range of sources and sometimes includes citations or additional context. For obscure topics or recent events, Gemini has an edge, accessing academic papers, industry reports, and niche data. The tone sticks to numbers and facts, which can feel stiff. Another 10 out of 10 for accuracy. Claude is equally accurate when web search is on. Clear explanations, correct information, no errors. The tone sits somewhere between ChatGPT's caution and Gemini's stiffness. Factual, but readable. Also 10 out of 10. All three tie on basic factual accuracy. For general queries, they're equally reliable. For deep or obscure research, Gemini's ecosystem gives it a slight advantage because of tighter Google integration.
And speaking of staying current with AI capabilities, this is exactly why I rely on AI Master Pro as my home base for everything AI related. Look, the reality is that all three of these models are updated constantly. New features drop, capabilities shift, and what worked last month might be outdated this week. I can't test every AI tool every single day. That's where AI Master Pro becomes genuinely valuable. It's an all-in-one hub specifically built for people who want to stay ahead in this space. Here's what's inside. You get access to a generative AI course with over 100 bite-sized lessons, the kind of foundational knowledge that actually makes you dangerous with these tools, not just a casual user. There's a curated library of 300 plus ready-to-use prompts, freelancers and businesses, funnels, content creation, research, automation workflows. These aren't generic templates. They are battle-tested prompts that produce results. Then there are the AI tools built directly into the platform. Ask AI Masters, like having a personal AI coach, helps you learn these systems faster. AI Art Studio for visual work, Prompt Creator to refine your prompt engineering skills. AI Voice Booth, deep AI research, everything in one place instead of scattered across 15 different subscriptions. But here's what I value most: the AI Master Method. It's an action sprint that walks you through building a sellable AI offer, setting up an automated funnel, and launching your first client outreach in 4 weeks. If you're trying to monetize your AI skills or build AI-powered services, that structure is gold. Plus, you get a community of people actually doing this work, weekly AI digests so you stay current, and discounts on premium AI tools. Right now, we're offering 24% off annual memberships for the first 1,000 members. If you are serious about mastering AI and turning that knowledge into real results, this is your home base. Links in the description. All right, back to the tests.
This is where we test pure problem solving. Can the AI walk through deductive logic step by step and arrive at correct conclusions? ChatGPT walks through reasoning methodically. You can see the step-by-step process, the deduction structure is visible, but somewhere in the execution threads get tangled. It arrives at conclusions that look logical on the surface, but don't hold up under scrutiny. The framework's there, the reliability isn't. 6 out of 10. Gemini shows similar issues. It acknowledges multiple logical paths, which sounds thoughtful, but then hedges instead of committing to the correct answer. In puzzles designed for one solution, that hedging is a weakness. The logic is partially there, but resolution is incomplete. Also around 6 out of 10. Claude has the same limitation. Reasoning process is visible and well articulated, but the final answer isn't always bulletproof. It can explain logic without executing it flawlessly. 6 out of 10. Nobody aces logical reasoning. All three models share this weakness. They can walk through reasoning and explain their process, but the conclusions aren't always accurate. If you're using AI for strategic planning, decision-making, or anything requiring airtight logic, you need to verify the outputs yourself. This is a category where human oversight remains critical. Can these AIs actually adopt a character and maintain that voice? This goes beyond just responding. It's about embodying a specific persona with consistent attitude and communication style. ChatGPT handles character adoption decently. It shifts tone and perspective when you give it a role, and the responses feel structured and reasonably authentic, but there's a consistent problem. Professional politeness creeps in even when the character should be blunt or challenging. It commits to the role without fully surrendering to it. You can still sense those safety rails. 8 out of 10, good performance, but personality gets softened. Gemini struggles with role-playing. The content might be technically correct for the role, but the voice doesn't match. Even when playing a direct, no-nonsense character, Gemini softens everything into corporate speak. The feedback reads like it's been through a PR filter. Too measured, too careful. 5 out of 10. Authentic character voice matters. Gemini doesn't deliver. Claude nails character work. The persona comes alive. Sharp when it needs to be sharp. Skeptical where skepticism fits. Direct without apology. The tone stays locked in throughout the entire response, and the character feels genuine. 9 out of 10. Claude doesn't have native image generation. It can analyze images, but not create them. So this is ChatGPT versus Gemini. ChatGPT's image generation capabilities produce consistently polished visuals. Images come out well composed with vibrant colors, balanced compositions, and visual clarity that makes them feel finished and usable. You're getting something you could drop into presentations, blog headers, or design concepts without major editing. Style consistency across multiple generations is reliable. Text rendering inside images, like speech bubbles or menu text, works reasonably well, though occasional artifacts can appear. 7 out of 10. Gemini's image generation has significantly improved with its latest models. The visual quality is striking. Images are crisp, colors are vivid, compositions feel more dynamic and creative. Gemini handles complex scenes better with more natural lighting and detail. Text rendering has improved substantially compared to earlier versions, though minor artifacts are still possible in complex layouts. For creative and marketing visuals, Gemini produces more compelling results. 9 out of 10. When it comes to special features, you have to look beyond the chat itself to the ecosystem around it, the tools, the integrations, and how they work together. ChatGPT has an extensive feature set. Custom GPTs let you build specialized assistants with custom instructions, reference documents, and actions for calling external APIs directly from chat. You can pull live data from CRMs, analytics tools, or internal systems. For developer workflows, the primary stack is Agents or AgentKit plus Responses API. Assistants API is planned for deprecation with a sunset scheduled for 2026. Canvas mode provides collaborative editing with a 2-panel interface where you edit code or documents side by side with the chat. Both ChatGPT and Gemini now support Canvas-style side panels for live editing. Advanced voice mode rolled out widely in July 2025, including limited access on the free tier. It now supports live video. You can turn on your camera, show objects or scenes, and get real-time analysis of what the model sees while having a voice conversation. This live mode is activated on demand, not always on. ChatGPT's voice quality is notably diverse and natural sounding, with a wider range of voice options than competitors. For static image analysis, like analyzing photos or screenshots, performance is strong. For video generation, Sora 2 is available through limited access by invite in the US and Canada. Functionality and generation limits are expanded as the rollout continues. It excels in cinematic camera movements and following detailed prompts, though clip length and scene complexity have limitations. 8 out of 10. Gemini's ecosystem strength is Google Workspace integration at scale. Since summer-fall 2025, custom gems are directly embedded in Docs, Sheets, Slides, Drive, and Gmail sidebars through extensions. You can auto-summarize emails in Gmail, analyze and summarize PDFs or videos in Drive, create content in Docs with contextual AI assistance, and schedule through Calendar, all natively. Extensions provide deep integration with Google services, though Gemini doesn't position a universal agent mode comparable to ChatGPT's agentic workflows. That said, functionality is evolving rapidly. Gemini also supports live video mode, and it's particularly strong in continuous multimodal communication. Camera feed to understanding to dialogue feels seamless. Voice quality is solid, though ChatGPT edges ahead in voice variety and naturalness. Like ChatGPT, static image analysis is strong. Canvas mode is now available in Gemini as well, providing side panel editing for documents and code. For video video generation, VO3 produces cinematic quality results. In October 2025, VO3 tends to excel in scene detail, visual coherence, and handling complex compositions. 9 out of 10. Claude offers projects and artifacts. Projects function as persistent workspaces where you upload files and maintain context across sessions. Since 2025, projects for teams adds collaborative memory and multi-agent research workflows. Artifacts provides a live editor panel for code, documents, and diagrams with file creation and code execution directly in chat. Claude Code is an enhanced coding environment launched in 2025. Claude also has native web search with citations, officially launched in 2025 through a phased rollout and now available by default across products and API. It's a powerful setup for developers and researchers. However, Claude lacks live video modes, universal agentic task automation comparable to ChatGPT's assistants, and does not have native text-to-video generation. Users rely on third-party services for video creation. 8 out of 10. Can you work on documents or code directly in the interface with live updates? This is about how smooth and efficient the creative workflow actually feels. ChatGPT's Canvas mode provides collaborative editing with a 2-panel interface. You draft and edit in a side panel while chatting alongside it. You highlight sections, ask for revisions, see updates instantly. The interface is clean and intuitive. For iterative writing or code refinement, the experience feels smooth and responsive. Whether you're working on blog posts, scripts, or debugging code, Canvas handles it well. 8 out of 10. Gemini introduced Canvas mode or an equivalent side panel interface in late October 2025. You can now draft documents, edit code, and see live previews directly in a persistent side panel that stays active throughout your conversation. The integration with Workspace means content can flow seamlessly into docs or sheets. Since the feature is very recent, it's less mature than ChatGPT's Canvas and lacks some polish, but the core functionality is there. Full featured editing alongside the chat. 7 out of 10. Claude's artifacts remains where in-chat editing becomes genuinely powerful. Code, documents, diagrams, they all open in a persistent side panel that functions as a live editor. You edit directly, ask Claude for changes, and updates happen immediately. The panel stays active throughout your entire conversation, which is huge for technical and creative work. You can test code snippets while Claude explains them, refine copy while maintaining full context, or iterate on diagrams without losing your place. It supports file creation and code execution right in the chat. 9 out of 10. Voice switching is baseline now. Pro, casual, technical, but the real test is consistency. Can they hold that voice through multiple paragraphs and edits? ChatGPT is decent here. Picks up on tone fairly well and maintains it for the first response. The problem shows up when you push it, ask for edits, add constraints, or feed it longer samples. It starts softening edges, especially if the original voice was sharp or sarcastic. Casual parts stick, but anything edgy gets diluted. It's trying to be helpful without offending anyone. 7 out of 10. Good for safe brand voices, not reliable for distinctive ones. Gemini struggles with style consistency. You can give it casual, sarcastic sample, and it'll somehow respond in corporate language. It defaults to formal phrasing, even when instructions are clear. The voice just doesn't transfer. Sometimes it refuses style changes entirely or misses the vibe completely. If brand voice consistency matters to you, and it should, Gemini's not dependable here. 4 out of 10. Claude nails style matching. It grabs the vibe and holds on tight, even through multiple edits and follow-ups. Sarcasm stays sarcastic, casual stays casual, professional stays professional. The weak spot is memory. Tell it to shorten something, and it might keep trimming until you're left with almost nothing. But for pure voice consistency, it's the strongest. 9 out of 10. This tests how well each AI can pull together comprehensive current information on complex topics, the kind of research that requires synthesizing multiple sources and staying up to date with recent developments. ChatGPT Search is gradually rolling out and is now enabled for a portion of users. It delivers answers with cited sources directly in responses, making it easy to verify information. The research is structured and well organized, covering major points with clear context and specific examples. For general queries and broad overviews with verifiable citations, ChatGPT Search performs strongly across a wide range of source types. 8 out of 10. Gemini's deep research capabilities come through 2 key features. features: deep research mode in Gemini Advanced, and search grounding available across Gemini apps and API. Deep research conducts multi-step investigations, pulling together sources, synthesizing information, and producing comprehensive reports with citations. Search grounding connects queries to real-time Google search when needed and can work with documents from Drive, PDFs, and images, though it's activated on demand, not always running. The strength here is the depth of workspace integration. You can research a topic while simultaneously pulling context from your own Google Docs, emails, and files. That said, ChatGPT Search and Claude's Web Search also provide broad source coverage with citations. Gemini's advantage is specifically in the depth of Google Workspace integration and the ability to blend internal documents with external research. 9 out of 10. Claude's native web search with citations officially launched in 2025 through a phased rollout and is now available by default across products and API. Claude provides well-reasoned research with clear source attribution, making verification straightforward, the analysis is strong, and the transparency of citations builds trust. With web search now fully integrated, Claude's research capabilities have improved significantly. How current the information is depends on the specific topic and available sources, not on any systematic limitation. For thoughtful, citable research with strong analytical depth, Claude is highly competitive. 8 out of 10. The choice depends on your workflow. For teams embedded in Google Workspace who need research that integrates internal documents, Drive files, and external sources simultaneously, Gemini's deep research and search grounding offer the tightest integration. For universal research with broad source coverage and straightforward verification, ChatGPT Search is highly competitive. For analytical depth with transparent, verifiable citations, Claude delivers strong results. Can you create personalized AI assistants tailored to specific repetitive tasks? This is about building tools that remember context and operate consistently over time. ChatGPT's custom GPTs are the gold standard in this category. You can build a specialized assistant with custom instructions, upload reference documents as permanent context, and even connect external APIs for live data. Once you create a custom GPT, it's persistent. You can return to it anytime, share it with team members, or keep it private. If you have recurring workflows like legal document drafting, financial report analysis, or content calendar management, you can build a custom GPT that handles the entire process. The ecosystem is mature and the functionality is robust. 9 out of 10. Gemini has gems which function similarly to custom GPTs with one key difference: tight workspace integration. You define a role, set instructions, and gems can pull directly from your Google Docs, calendar, and other services. That integration is powerful for Google-centric workflows. However, the gem ecosystem is newer and less developed. The customization options and template library aren't as extensive as custom GPTs yet. 7 out of 10. Claude doesn't have a direct equivalent to custom GPTs or gems. Instead, it offers projects, which create persistent workspaces with uploaded context and ongoing conversations. Projects are excellent for long-term work where you need to maintain context across sessions, but they're not shareable or templated the same way custom GPTs are. They function more as dedicated workspaces than reusable custom assistants. 6 out of 10.
Let's wrap this up. After comparing all 11 categories, here's the scoreboard. ChatGPT, 88 out of 110. Claude, 84. Gemini, 78. That makes ChatGPT the overall winner. But the right pick depends on how you work. If brand voice and nuanced writing are your daily job, go with Claude. If your team lives in Google Docs, Drive, and Gmail, choose Gemini for the tightest integration. And if you need a balanced general-purpose assistant for writing, research, and data, stick with ChatGPT. Smart move. Pick one, cancel the rest. You'll save money and move faster without constant context switching. And if you are serious about building real AI expertise, the kind that turns into actual results, not just playing around with chatbots, check out AI Master Pro. It's where I stay current, learn advanced techniques, and access the tools that actually matter. Right now, we're offering 24% off annual memberships for the first 1,000 members. Links in the description. Drop a comment below which AI are you using right now, and did this test change your mind? Let me know.